The Casio G-Shock. No other quartz watch and definitely no other digital watch is as highly regarded and respected as the G-Shock. Classic, battery-powered, cheap-ass watches, and we love them. In June last year, I posted a video with the silly and clickbaity title, The Best G-Shock Still. And of course that title was a bit of an exaggeration. More than that, it was a joke, just like the title of this video. Gotcha. Because see, if there's one thing that I've been trying to get across in my videos, it's that there is no objectively best watch. Best does not exist in isolation. There's only best for you or best for me. It's high on my list of pet peeves, even above asking my wrist size or where I bought a strap. In my personal or logical religion, asking which watch is the best is a cardinal sin and may land you in watch hell. No, sorry, I'm sure those are great watches for someone I never want to meet. So in that last G-Shock video I made it very clear that this watch, the GWM5610, was the best G-Shock for me. The 5610 is a great size, a great design, and an awesome price. And my two favorite features of this watch make this G-Shock effortless. Because the GWM5610 has solar charging and radio syncing, it doesn't need a battery change, and it's automatically perfectly accurate. A low maintenance watch for a high maintenance fancy boy. And in the comments of that video, many people said, "Hey dummy, there's actually an update to the 5610 and it's more better," which is basically my impression of a YouTube comment. Rude, with poor grammar, but sometimes helpful. This watch, the GWM5610u, is the updated 5610, and wow, it's bananas how different this looks with all the differences that are so different. But seriously, the update is cool, and actually the YouTube comments were right, which is probably the first time that sentence has ever been said. Casio did a good job here. They kept the classic square G-Shock design, they kept the colors, the layout. The only immediate visual difference between the 5610u and the older 5610 is that the newer version simply says light on the face, while the older version says EL backlight. And that indicates one difference between these watches. The backlight technology. I have to hold one upside down so I can press both buttons at the same time, and you can see the new watch is brighter, but I kinda prefer the charm of the green backlight. Another improvement that Europeans will appreciate is that you can finally change the date format to be date first rather than month first. Now I won't show you that because it's so un-American that I would have to deport myself even for demoing the feature, but trust me, it's there. And my favorite improvements all have to do with the world time function. First, you can set 5 different favorite world times to have quick access to. All the other 20-something cities are still available, but you can set 5 favorites. Second, the city name scrolls in the top right corner. Hey, that's pretty neat. And when it's done scrolling, you can see the third new world time feature. In that same top right box is your home time. Yes. This is my favorite thing. This finally makes the 5610 a dual time watch. You no longer need to press buttons and toggle between the home time and the world time mode. Both times are finally on the same screen at the same time. And you can even swap the home time and the world time by pressing the top 2 buttons at the same time. So if you're landing in the second time zone, you can immediately say, okay, now this is my home time, and what used to be my home time is my second time zone that I want to track. Now all of this is possible because the 5610 now uses the 3495 module, and module basically means movement here. If you want to learn more about all the features of this watch, or nearly any G-Shock, you gotta check out the YouTube channel Watch Geek. This man is an international treasure and should be protected at all costs. So this is now the best G-Shock for me, right? Well, maybe not. A few weeks ago at a watch meetup, I tried on a GW6900 for the first time, one of the John Mayer Hodinkee whatever the fuck editions. No solar charging, no radio syncing with atomic clocks, but I really liked the look. So when I got home, I did some interneting and found that there is a 6900, this GW6900, which does have those effortless features that I love. And I've been wearing this a lot and I'm very into this watch. Maybe it's the novelty of this watch, I'm still not sure, but at the moment, I prefer this GW6900 to the square GWM5610. This is a big watch, G-Shock big. It's 50 millimeters across, 53 millimeters north to south, and 17.7 millimeters thick. That's right, it's nearly 18 millimeters thick. On my 7-inch wrist, it's huge. From a distance, I think it looks really good, but those numbers don't lie. I honestly don't know how people with smaller wrists wear this, but I know they do, and God bless them. It's light, very comfortable. If this were a steel watch, forget it, it'd be unwearable. But in plastic, with a quartz movement, the weight is the least of the issues. The GW6900 has a lot of the same functions as the GWM5610. Functions? Complications? Are they still called complications when they're on a wrist computer? Apple seems to think so. Again, if you want a complete rundown of this watch, go to the Watch Geek channel and bask in the glorious 30-minute video about how to use this watch. Now, one minor difference that I prefer on this watch, again, has to do with time zones, baby. Without exiting the regular timekeeping mode, a press of the top right button replaces the day, date, and month with a city code and the time there, and I really like this. Once again, 2 time zones simultaneously on the screen. And unlike with the square G, this screen also shows a little P near the second time zone when it's PM there. Who knew it could be so useful to have a little P on your watch? Another design feature that I prefer on this watch is the big old button at the bottom that turns on the backlight. This is so much easier to operate than the tiny button on the top right of the square 5610. But maybe as appealing as the features, almost as appealing as the features, is that I really like how this looks. I like the 3 eyes, even though I admit I can barely tell what info they're displaying. I like the whole rounded look. And while I never had one of these watches before, I get a very nostalgic, very 90s vibe from this, and I dig that. After all, the 6900 was debuted in 1995, and if you were born after 1995, just hush, you're basically an infant, and your opinion is of no importance here. So after some heavy introspection and soul-searching, after a week-long G-Shock vision quest, I now think the GW6900 is the best G-Shock. For me. What's best for you? I don't know. You need to have your own vision quest, but my hope is that videos like this can help you on your way. Help you and remind you that if someone says that a watch is the best without qualification, without that extra clarifying clause, they are wrong. For me,